We are here with the final match in the USA versus Latvia elimination round matchup. This is Alejandro Pantoja versus Aleksandra from Latvia, whose name, I guess, in Iron Throne is La Politesse. Alright, so they are doing their setup real quick. Let's take a look at the lists. Here is, so we've got a Bara cohort for Latvia, running some plots we don't see all the time here. I mean, maybe they're more common in Bara, but I wouldn't know. And I think the thing I'm noticing is kind of like no reset. And then here we have Alejandro's, he's playing Mystery Knight. He's chosen Targ, Sea of Blood. So Sea of Blood is his restricted. And again, no reset here. Double return to the fields. I think this tends to win pretty early, and so probably no need to really reset, or if you need to reset, you've already lost or something. But all right, so 8 gold setup for Alejandro, getting big Stannis out for Aleksandra. She's got some plots. She's got at least one plot that looks like it can delay things with Sea of Blood, since it can cancel. Let's see, let's take a look at that again. Name a challenge type. So you can just say no military. And then this one says cannot trigger reactions to winning. So you kind of have 2 silver bullets here for Sea of Blood in particular. So we'll see how that plays out. Turn the field as an opener. Interesting. I'm wondering if Alejandro... I always kind of assume he knows what he's doing. Seems like an odd opener. But maybe he's got another Missandei in hand. I don't think there's no world in which this ends up putting her back into play or anything, right? Like, she's only when discarded, hand or deck, so there's never a chance that Turn of the Fields puts her back in play or anything. So we'll see how this goes. King plot. With a king, it's nice. Okay, we see Gifts of the Widow in order to tutor out Beggar King. Only worth 1 though, because there's a king out there. Right? Oh, right, and that's after so there's no trigger here because it's after the plot, but it does allow for king. Which is the important thing here. Looks like we got some people in chat. Let's see who's watching. If I can tell who this is. Says there's 5 people, but I think it's just Alejandro. We'll see. Okay, we got some funky attachment action here. Yikes. Super Stennis. That said, you still got 13. You got 13 strength of military there before any standard Targ shenanigans. But the bodyguard's pretty good. And you also have stealth because of Blood Rider. So this should go off even without using... Yeah, it doesn't have to use all three characters here. I don't think Bara has any tricky tricks here. Maybe they have tricky tricks. I don't know Bara well enough to know if they have tricky tricks. Boy, that's nice though when you can just kind of king plot happens and you gifts the widow to get exactly the thing you need. All right. First see a blood trigger. Huh. Do you add Shadow of the East? He's got no money. Okay, but that's gonna... What? That's gonna get rid of an attachment? Not this turn. Does do the put to the sword. He had the two. Had the two money. And it looks like he can even... Because he's got Plaza out. Even if Stannis swings back with military here, they should be able to block, right? Probably still do it. Let's see again if are there some tricks. Can do a power challenge in order to trigger cohort after this. But not losing any characters good. And I guess you gotta make him spend the card. But still, it seems like this is a pretty good... Like, this was a pretty good start for both sides. But, you know, Sea of Blood's just freaking fast, right? Okay, he fires off gifts for the widow. Why does he get... What does that give him right now? I mean, it's nice. It's just the timing. I guess he doesn't want to risk Bara just ending challenges. Okay, does he want to swap out anything for cohort here? I think he's... Other than Azor Asahai not doing anything right now without another R'hllora character. He might do... Could he do, like, Seal a Hand or something? Nope, no cohort trigger. Alright. Well, like I said, there's essentially like 3 different plots that Bara has that can get in the way of Sea of Blood here. So it almost looks like, on a plot level, it's teched against Sea of Blood. And maybe part of what Alejandro is thinking by opening Return to the Fields is simply he doesn't have to worry about a reset, so... What else has he got here? Fury of the Khalasar, Close Call. Okay, King's not going to do anything right now. Vanquish is pretty solid. Is he all Blood Rider right now? See how that works. I'm not crazy. Vanquish is what it is versus barring. Barring's pretty good here for stopping. What's the one that always comes flying in? There you go, Kotho. But still, this is a pretty good combination here now. And this isn't stopping Sea of Blood either. So that's interesting. I would have... I mean, I don't know how Bara plays this, but I would have thought you'd keep those... Like, why wouldn't you do the thing that prevents all military challenges right now? Plenty of Dothraki to make Vanquish work. Phil, this feels rude, kind of using a Bara plot. Or a Verlore plot against Bara. So Bara's got to put out some bodies, because this could easily be 4 claim this turn, right? Before you even get to Sea of Blood triggers. Just this. And that could be that. Alejandro did leave no gold, but with a second Sea of Blood trigger, it can be another. Put the sword now, I can afford it. It's interesting, like, not running a reset. I mean, neither of these decks are running a reset. I think Bara would like a reset now. Let's see. Can he Imri Florent to Neil Jogo? Is that the trick? You just go ahead and burn Imri in order to stop the double claim here, right? Is that the plan? got an action window before challenges here, so if it's going to happen, I think it's going to happen right now. It's going to be too late now. Right? What does she do? No help. That could help. So you got 11 coming in, even if you block with Imri. It's going to be 9. Oh, yeah, Alejandro gets to choose. Okay, good point. Thank you, Anil. What about Shireen, though? Well, it doesn't really matter, though. The trick is that the second military challenge will be happen. It doesn't need to be Jogo who's staying. But I guess without the stealth, no. Right, he'll stand Joko right with the plaza. You're a much better player than I am. I think I would have figured that out eventually. Yeah, these two cards seem like a pretty crazy combo here. And there goes Shadow of the East. I happen to know that Alejandro played a Prime tournament in San Diego yesterday with this deck and won. It was only a field of 13, but I knew every single name in that tournament. So this deck's pretty good. Okay, no put to the torch. No put to the sword. He's only running one sword? Does that possibly seem right? You are correct. Okay, now so is it counting on markets in order to put it back there then? Is that the idea? Right, she can only kneel Horselord. Why would you kneel? Oh, because it's the power icon? Okay. Alejandro's doing very well, but 0 power on the house. Not that that matters. Yeah, he didn't even get to trigger his Imri here because he has to keep him for claim, right? Did he forget to use Beggar King this turn? Hmm. Get knock one. Okay. I don't know what power gets you here, really. Or is that, like, already admitting defeat? But again, he doesn't have a reset. Alright, let's look at plots here. One thing that's interesting is that he doesn't have a card draw plot, but okay, here's another two-claimer. I mean, that must be nice running 3 two-claim plots. Alright, so this turn she pops Parley at Storm's End. And no military challenges. There's the crazy location. See, this is what I'm wondering, like, why this plot now and not earlier? Barring the gates last turn seemed pretty odd to me. Like, why not just prevent military challenges and get a ton of bodies on the board so you can start absorbing some of this stuff? I don't know. If she doesn't have enough military icons, I guess it's academic, but still. Okay, we're still in two-claim land here. Just what he... Okay, he can do 17. Did he need to do 17? He can just stealth past Stannis, right? So, why is he doing it with so much? You worried about shenanigans, or you have a trigger here that he needs to hit? The army raises claim. Alright. Gotcha. Right, he's at 11 anyway. Thank you. 3 claim. Crazy. Seems good. So I think despite the fact that USA went 3-2 in the Swiss rounds, they actually have the most number of individual wins coming out of the Swiss. For what it's worth. And 2 squeaker losses to Hungary and Germany. 2 5-4 losses. Alright, so even... Yeah, this will work. Alejandro could stop the military challenge swinging back. Alright, is there any cohort silliness that's going to happen based upon this? That's right, and I've forgotten that Stannis is immune to put to the sword anyway, so... Why does he need to do that? Why does he need to stand Jogo? Oh, he was going to... Okay. Reserve a 4 anyway. Army's in his hand now, right? Both those cards go back to hand. Horse Lord. Raiding Khalasar. Okay. Yes, Wildfire is a reset. I stand corrected. Kinda. He can put that army back out, but he doesn't actually need to, right? He can just womb it. Maybe he puts it out and now it's permanent. Okay. I'm guessing he's gonna womb it then, right? Because that's from hand. I'm still learning this card. Mm-hmm. Alright, +3 strength for somebody when attacking. So... some nice strength pumps. Stannis is hard to kill. Don't believe HBO. Stannis is hard to kill. And looks like you can get a kneel out of this too. Alright, there's room to bring in raiding Khalasar, so on a military challenge, this will be 3 claim. No intrigue icon. Alejandro will be able to tutor for an event. I don't think put to the sword does anything right now. He could mark it to get it back in the deck, but I don't know if that's what he actually wants. So he didn't bother to stealth. Oh, he did stealth, but he's... Interesting choice. He chose to kneel. There's your intrigue icon. If you're Stannis, why do you bother to jump block that? Oh, he's got 1 card in Shadows, but that's, what, Shadows of the East or whatever, probably again, right? So we can get rid of a dupe. Not a dupe, a bodyguard, I mean. Okay, he puts to the torch. Alright, here's 3 claim. Pop the bodyguard. Somebody gets knelt here though, right? Did he bring out Kotho too soon? He might have brought out Kotho too soon. That'll be a good question for him later. Oh yeah, it doesn't matter, just do. Well, okay, but now there's no power icon. I mean, I agree it's more important to attack the hand here, but... Yeah, I guess you were never getting... No, if he had brought him out later, right, couldn't he have still gotten the intrigue and then stood Jogo and gotten all 3 challenges going back? Am I wrong about that? That's a nice move there. Before your 0 reserve, go ahead and put Kotho back into play because you're losing him anyway. All right, well, that's oppressive. Except for he actually still has... No, those are all 3 of his 2 claim plots. Oh right, I forget. Yeah. And it's not just to get the discount. Okay. Had to do Sea of Blood to afford it. Is that what you're saying? No. On the event. Oh, he brought him in with an event? Okay. It wasn't from his hand. Alright. Good point. Thanks. I mean, it all worked fine. It was just whether he could get off all 3 challenges. And I was kind of forgetting it. I mean, not you could do stuff in between challenges. But yeah, get that discount. Which is nice. Okay, close call, I think is mostly just acting as draw here. Close call versus you win or you die. No economy. He'll have only $5 to put something out here. But he does get to go first. Okay. Got some big boys out with some dupes. Did he forget to Beggar King again? No, it has to be a higher gold value, sorry. Got 2 kings. Okay, swinging with both. Wow. It's crazy just how much stuff you can just throw to the board here. I thought it was excessive to go with 12, but in fact Alejandro can completely absorb it. Was Intimidate coming or something? I think you'd just swing back here and not care. But is he like wants to stop the Yeah, I'm wondering if is there something I'm missing about like why he needs to actually stop this challenge from succeeding. I mean, yeah, he's stopping a cohort trigger, but you know, who cares if Bara gets some power on their card here? You could swing back with higher claim, right? And I guess he's gonna stand raiding Kalasar anyway. Now. Yeah, and that's right. Yes, it is the case that I forgot that this is the key thing. Stannis would have drawn 2 cards. That's what I'm forgetting. Alright, he's up to 12. He'll win Dom. Well, actually, yeah, he hasn't done his... No, he has done his military challenge, yep. 14. Play and return to the field. Why not? Not sure rationing's going to do much here. Wouldn't be surprised just to see a concede here. It depends on what Bara drew, but hard to see how this isn't over. I guess you just play it out, but swing, swing, swing. Why not? GG, right? Now you concede. Yeah, I think we see some future restricted cards here. Or at least one. I don't know. I mean, Womb was good. Was that really what made this crazy? Okay, let's see if we can get Alejandro to join us. Alright, Alejandro will be here briefly.
Hey, how's it going?
Alright, hey Alejandro, congratulations.
Thank you.
Alright, for people in the chat, does Alejandro sound low volume, or how does he sound? If anyone's still listening.
Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3, test.
Alright, I'll put you up a little bit just because you sound quiet to me, but what do I know? Okay, congrats. That seemed to work. He sounds great. He sounds like a victor. Nice. Okay, that seemed to go according to plan.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've got a pretty positive matchup against Bara Cohort. Outside of that, she had 3 hate plots, which was a little bit concerning going in.
Right.
Um, it's why I opened Return to the Field. I just assumed that she was going to open Parlay, and I didn't want to run a 2-claim plot into that before I had too much board settled.
Right.
And then she didn't, which I wasn't sure if she was trying to next level me, because if she assumed that I assumed that she would open Parlay, I would play around it and then run into a better opening from her. And so I didn't want to keep doing that. I didn't want to keep all right, well, maybe she plays Parlay turn 2, and so I should play another plot that isn't a 2-claim plot, um, because that's an easy way for me to lose. I just keep playing around it and it doesn't come down.
Right.
So just played it plot 2. Hope that she didn't play
Well, what she
Parlay.
opened? She opened King plot, right?
Yeah.
But you had an answer to that. It was the
Yeah, but the thing is that it doesn't really matter. So if she opens King Plot and I open Vanquish, I just murder her whole board that turn. It doesn't matter, right?
yeah. It doesn't require any triggers.
Yeah. Um,
Well, wouldn't
and
it?
so
Yeah. Okay. Would you still murder her whole board even during King plot if you didn't have a king out?
I
Would you?
I think yes, but maybe not.
Well, tell me how
Um,
you do. I mean, that's just 2-claim. What am I missing?
it's 2 claim put to the sword, and she had 4 characters and a
And
bodyguard.
King
Is that
plot
right?
doesn't stop any of that. Okay.
Yeah. Um,
Characters, locations, or attachments. Okay. Gotcha. Did she have a bodyguard out on turn one too? Like
I think
Stannis is
she
still,
did. So maybe that
yeah.
would have slowed me down.
Stannis is
Um,
still there. Stannis is hard to kill.
yeah, Stannis is her setting up 7-1-0 was pretty rough. Because that's not what I wanted to see going in.
No, it seemed like it
Um,
was a good start for both people. I did seem like she had three different plots that were good against you. Um, but it didn't seem to matter. The barring the gates on turn two seemed odd. Cause
yeah,
she,
I mean it's actually it's like pretty strong. It's all three of them are really good against me. But parlay is the big one. Parlay is the one where I can't whittle down your board at all. So
hmm
if she had done that turn two, that would have slowed me down because she I think had four characters after turn two again, and she could have cohort for a second bodyguard. So it would have been a pretty big uphill battle had I not been able to uh, do four mill claim that turn.
hmm No, I thought that's what she should have done on turn two, like and just get more bodies out or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But all right, so that worked. You're playing a bunch of broken cards. Well,
Yeah,
congratulations.
it was it's these cards are so silly. Like I don't think I even played it this game, but overwhelming numbers is like the most ridiculous one here. So um
Well,
whenever that card gets to
did you even play overwhelming numbers?
No, I didn't. I have it. Maybe I did I get it with Sea of Blood last turn?
Oh, did
I
you
might have.
tutor for it?
Yeah, I might have
Maybe.
tutored for it and then just yeah. And then just, if anything I could do it this turn, but I didn't need to, so it yeah. Room is good. I wish I would have hit Caldrogo earlier because that would have made my life easier, but that's okay. I
Yeah, that
can't
would have
have
been
everything.
easier. Well, the combination of Jogo plus what being able to do a second military challenge on second turn was pretty nuts.
yeah. That was key.
Okay,
Um,
OK Targ is asking in chat if you want to go to Gamescape on the 12th. Does this mean anything to you?
it does. I think that is the day that I was intending on going, but actually, Angela and I are going to go to the theater, so I will not be there.
All right. Sorry, OK Targ. All right, so you played this deck yesterday also in a prime down in San
Mm-hmm.
Diego.
Yeah, good one.
So you in that one you did lose a match. Did you
I
lose to
did.
you
Yeah,
lost to Neil and then you beat Neil? Was that right?
yeah. I lost to Neil in the King of Swiss game, and then I beat Neil in the finals match. So,
So tell
um,
us tell I mean yes, your deck is very exciting. Targ Sea of Blood is very exciting, but tell us about this Landing Conclave thing that Neil was running and
yeah, Neil
went
Neil was playing
undefeated
this.
in Swiss in the prime yesterday.
Yeah, up to the finals, he went undefeated. Yeah, it was a sweet deck. He was playing um, 2x summon to court. Is that I don't even remember what that plot's called, but the plot that has two gold printed, and you reveal the top card, and you put whatever it is in the play, or you put the character in the play if it's a character.
Okay.
Otherwise, you gain two gold and you draw it. Um, so he was doing conclave to put something huge on top of his deck, and then just cheat it in with his plot. Um, and unfortunately, in his finals game against me, he didn't see anything big enough. Um, I had a really good start. Like I had to start with overwhelming numbers and ridiculous stuff like that. He was playing jumpers, which was really cool. So he was playing the maester that lets you play a card from your hold. These are all cards that were foreign to me at the time, so
Uh huh.
trying to remember what they did.
Is that
They
is that the Terrell Maester that lets you look at the top of your
no
deck and play?
no
No, it's something else.
oh maybe it is, but what I'm thinking of is the
Oh,
Archmaester Marwin.
Marwin the
Yeah,
Mage.
so
Yeah, that's the new
he
the new
yeah
Maester.
he was playing jumpers with it. So uh, he if there was an event in his hold that he could use, he was just getting a lot of value out of Marwin with big lanny dudes from hand. Which I don't know how he made it work because there's a lot of he was playing like Bravos. So he had a bunch of different maesters from different houses, but he was also playing, I think, the full package of the jumper events at Olaney.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it seemed to work out, but feels like the numbers are really tight. So
I'm looking at
uh,
summon to court, and that doesn't sound like exactly what you just described. Summon to court
okay,
is when the draw phase ends, each player chooses a card in his or hand, then reveal the chosen cards. Each player who revealed a character with the lowest printed cost may put that character into play. That's not the same thing you're describing
that
here.
is not the thing in them. I don't know. It was whatever plot it was that they printed a ton of alt arts for, and that nobody ever cared about. That one.
Okay.
Uh, I don't remember what it was called.
All right. Well, we'll
Uh,
press Neil to because that sounds cool. That sounds different. Called into
yeah,
service, says OK Targ.
called into service. Okay,
All
that
right.
makes more
Let's look at
sense.
that. So how did the tell me about the two. So you lost to him, then you won. What was the difference, or how'd those matches go?
Yeah, so in the King of Swiss match, he had a perfect setup hand, so he immediately keeps, and it's red keep Maester Mullen, which is the Night's Watch one that name a character and a challenge type, and they can't participate. They can't attack you in that challenge type. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and he had that red keep. He set up a great hall, and he set up something else. Um,
Are you saying he
or
got
at least
lucky?
it's
Is that what you're saying? He got
no, no,
lucky?
no, no. He just like he definitely saw what he needed to see. Because he also he had three Great Halls turn one and a Dupes Gregor. Um, after having Mullen, which takes away my only instance of stealth.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like pretty hard to get past. Had I seen like overwhelming numbers, I probably can get over the top of it. But it it was he drew well. I drew below average, and I we played like 2 rounds, and I was like, you know what, this game doesn't matter. So let's go take a break.
Okay.
I was pretty far down. Like he had a big board. He was definitely favored from that point, but I wasn't. I didn't feel like putting that much effort into a game that didn't matter.
Gotcha.
Um, yeah, and then I played Schoenthal in the top four game, and he had been playing Targ Sea of Blood in the lead up to the Philly War, the Soberfest,
Mm-hmm.
um, and he did really well with it at the tournament. Um, so he was familiar with a bunch of my cards, but on setup, he had to read Womb and Horse Lord, which are really good cards in this deck, and he's like, "They get what?" So he was surprised by those cards, and then challenges turn one. I made a military challenge. Okay, so it was a sweet turn. So at the end of marshaling, I didn't marshal anything. I have a horse lord with two attachments on him and a braided warrior. And then so he takes my horse lord with Yorin, and then I trigger Kotho. I discard two blood riders. I do a military challenge with those two, and then I trigger overwhelming numbers. Oh, I also had a womb in the world, so at some point I triggered that and put something into play. And so I did. I made a 3 claim military challenge that got an intrigue from his hand, and a put to the sword off turn one. After only having 3 strength on the board, the only thing I had was um, a braided warrior at
Mm-hmm.
the end of marshaling. And then that happened. So he read overwhelming numbers and was like,
Then
"Wow, this is
what happened was what this deck does to people.
yeah. It's exactly what it did." Then turn two, I played Fury of the Khalasar. He drew just to see if there was anything, and then we picked up the cards because it
So
was over.
so give me an example. So with the Targ Sea of Blood here with this deck, what's the matchup you don't want to see? Or do you not you're not afraid of anything? Like, or is there a hard counter to this?
To be honest, I don't know the answer to that yet.
Mm-hmm.
In testing, like before testing for Stalik, which was a much it's a watered down version of this deck because it didn't have three busted cards that they printed for it, um,
Stalik
and
didn't
more like
have the. Wait, what was the situation for Stalik? Was it? It's a different meta.
so the Stalik didn't have the Targ box, so
Okay,
I
didn't.
didn't have
Okay.
Horse Lords, the two claim plot, Womb of the Worlds, or Overwhelming Numbers. Um, so it was a little bit weaker version of the deck. In testing for that, I was initially worried about Shadows, but then the Shadows matchups ended up being good. Uh, Night's Watch was a big problem because Yorn is such a tempo swing
Mm-hmm.
that I just couldn't overcome it. Like they would take one of my guys who maybe had an attachment or two and then flip the numbers on the military. So it was really hard to get over it. But I think
Mm-hmm.
overwhelming numbers fixes that. I certainly haven't tested it enough, but overwhelming numbers just gets over the top of so much stuff. It's so hard to combat plus 12 strength for 2 gold. Um, Room of the World is also like a big thing that the deck has that it didn't have before. Um, and so not being able to account for whatever I'm gonna find in the top five is really difficult. Um, I don't know what the deck loses to. Probably loses to like decks that don't care about their characters. Um,
Martell is gonna make a comeback.
right. Probably Martell. Um, uh,
No, yeah, maybe if you had something that actually could reset you a bunch of times, that might
right,
that
yeah.
because you don't have great draw here, right?
Well, I'm not. So the
Well, tell me
thing is that
how am I wrong?
I'm playing 2x Return of the Field,
Mm-hmm.
so it's really hard for them to reset me. They probably have to do a Varus, and it has to be a Last of the Giants Den Varus or a duped Varus, right? Like their Varus could die if they marshal them, so it has to be
Mm-hmm.
a Last of the Giants Varus.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they don't really have answers for Womb of the World. They don't have answers for overwhelming numbers, which
Right. You don't have to
besides
have a
the,
board with with those things.
right. Well, you have to have two characters, but
Yeah, yeah.
as long as you do, when you play the event, you draw two Dothraki characters from your discard pile, essentially. Like
Yeah.
get the
And they
tempo
end up back
advantage,
in
and
your
then they
hand at the end
and then
too,
they
right?
come back to your hand. So
Yeah.
like you have more gas for the next turn.
That's so.
Um, yeah, that Return of the Fields times two is really hard for Martel to combat.
It was
Being
a
able to put to
joke
this
anyway.
torch.
Martell's not beating anybody.
Well, no. I
I mean,
understand, but
Alex is
like
beating
control
people,
deck is like theoretically would be a problem for this, but
but not
it's
really. Not really. Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I'd have to. I need to do more testing, and I haven't really done testing
Well,
outside
yeah,
of.
you don't have to until you have the matchup anyway.
Right,
That's the nice
right.
thing
Well,
about
we
this
we know the
format.
matchup now, which is um. I have another Bara cohort matchup, and this deck doesn't run as much hate plot, hate
You know,
plots.
okay. So tell me, so you know the matchup because what the is it like the team
The
order set?
bracket, the bracket set.
Okay,
So
so
we just play whoever advances
you're
from the
number
other set.
4, so you're gonna play Andorra number 4, and so you're gonna
Right,
play
exactly.
Marquina,
Exactly, yeah.
and Marquina is running. Well, you can see you have another Bear cohort here.
Bear cohort. 2x bar in the gate's like the only thing that's going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really hard for this deck to be able to afford enough to combat what I can marshal with 5 gold.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there's a chance that like they high roll me with Solis, Bob, 18 attachments turn one,
Sure.
but that's really hard to do because they also need dupes. Like um, they'd probably barring, and hope that I haven't murdered them by then. But we'll see. I'm excited to do some testing on it.
Yeah, right. That's right. You can completely test against it,
Yeah,
which seems like if you're gonna do this tournament, that's what you're signing up for.
I
Doing a
think
bunch of
so.
testing beforehand. All right.
No
Well,
reason
I
not
will
to.
let you go. I think congratulations. Do you know the next round start in just a day or two here?
Um,
I feel like we're kind
yeah.
of at the
So
end of this round.
we are, but they have they have all of Monday. UK Italy is the only game, the only match that hasn't been decided yet.
Uh huh.
Um, so whenever they finish out their round, we'll probably advance. Um, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Well, thanks, Alejandro,
Oh,
and
Russia Poland has that.
we will.
Sorry.
I will try to cover the Team USA matches, or at least some of them, in the next round.
Yeah, yeah. Excited. Thanks for streaming it.
All right, cool. We got up to 10 people here late at
Oh,
night.
awesome. Cool.
Ooh, 10.
I mean, yeah, that's cool.